I want to train tennis players. I want more tennis players in the strength feed.
Dude, can you
Honestly,
make
like,
me?
I think the tennis scene in Raleigh is like pretty decent because it's like we have fairly good weather year round. But I mean, there's so many universities around here. But like we need to get more tennis kids in.
What up, YouTube, what up? It's your boy, Backyard Tennis. Welcome back to Backyard Tennis. We got Travis Toivonen interview. Travis, the last time that we interviewed you, I said our last name wrong because Travis and I are brothers twice. I don't know.
What do you mean you said her last name wrong?
Well, I was like Travis Toivonen. I don't know how I said it.
Yeah.
If you watched it back, you would be like, yeah, I kind of like slip up on the name. I don't know why.
That's a sad state of affairs when you can't even pronounce. It's not just your brother's last name; it's your own last name as well.
I know.
Thoughts and prayers.
I just remember sitting in Green Bay. I was in like the workout studio. I don't know what we talked about, but I remember where I was.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess, I mean, people can go back and watch that, but yeah, I watched it right before this just so I didn't ask, redundant questions for the internet, whatnot. But we had this scheduled on Tuesday and it kind of fell through. I'm kind of glad it did fall through because I had some stuff going on, but you had some stuff going on, Travis. You had flag football, a game.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Right on the spot, dude. So I had a couple of friends that asked me if I wanted to play in this flag football league. So this is game number 4 now. And I had said ever since I was done playing football, I was like, I'm not going to play flag football. Like I have no interest. And then these guys were like talking to me about it. And one of them, he played quarterback at JMU. Another one played quarterback at like Ole Miss and Charlotte. And then one of my other friends, he was a tight end at Cal. So I'm like, some like good athletes, like fine, like I'll do it. But we played these guys on Tuesday. They're called the Grim Reapers. And they're like the travel. You ever see those videos of like 37U football where it's just like dudes like decking, like just laying each other out? Like obviously it's flag football, so there's no tackling, but like they got like the like spandex like uniforms with their nicknames on the back. It's like zig 'em up and like no fly zone. So we're like playing these dudes. We're down by 13 with like 3 minutes left. I'm like throw me the ball. Like, come on now. Went down. I scored a touchdown deep, got down, missed the extra point. So we were down by 7 with like a minute left. I hit it was 4th down. I'm like, again. So I was like, I know this is going to work. Hit a little like glance route, which is like a third outside step. And you kind of just bend it in, almost like a deeper slant. Just hit me right on the, like right there. Kind of hurdled the dude. They were mad because they thought I was stiff armed and he can't do that. Scored 2-point conversion to win the game. I caught another one, scored, won it. Actually, there's like 20 seconds left, but we had a defensive stop. So we took down the Grim Reapers by 1, which they're like apparently the best team in the league. Like we won our last games by like 40 and 50 because it's just like normal dudes. But like these guys like play ball. So it was actually really fun.
First, congrats on the big dub. I mean, that's
thank you.
More importantly, I got to ask, names on the back of the jersey. I'd like to think that your team plays for the name on the front of the jersey, but since their name/nickname as well as on the back, reminds me of the XFL early days. Was there a "he hate me" on anybody's jersey?
There was not.
It's too bad.
I do have some game film from the girlfriends and wives that were there. They're recording some, so I can send you that. You can put in some clips of my touchdowns on the YouTube video.
Allie went.
Allie was not there. She had a work thing, but like all the other guys' wives and girlfriends pull up.
What would your so back when you played in the fan controlled football FCF,
FCF,
you had the nickname Trav Daddy. If you had a nickname would you also use Trav Daddy for?
I think
your...
it'd have to be, right?
Yeah.
I feel it's like a legacy thing.
Yeah.
It's like a minor league like football thing.
Yeah. What so you're 4-0. Do you think you're the best player on your team?
Yeah. I mean, like 100%. I just like I work out all the time. You know, like that's the one thing that I mean, everyone at one point in their lives were great athletes, and then they all start working. Like our team name is Air Raid Incorporated, CPAs and advisors. So like a majority of my team are like accountants or like they work in like some like finance or like sales or something. So like they don't work out. I work at a gym. I work out 5 days a week. So like I'm still in great shape, and I still do a lot of these like athletic movements. So yeah, I run way faster than everyone else. I can jump higher and I catch the ball well.
Would you still say that you're deceptively quick in this league?
I don't think it's even deceptive when you're playing flag football against 30 to 45-year-old men. At that point, it's just fairly evident.
Do you think you're faster now than 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about because I just trained a guy who had his pro day, and like I would go out to the field sometimes and run 40s with him. I just warm up and run 40s. And I was like, I ran a 4.61 at my pro day. I'm probably like 4.65, 4.66. So like still moving pretty decent. Probably just a little bit slower. I'm also a little bit heavier. Definitely stronger than I was when I was playing. I just don't think I like don't run routes, so I probably don't catch the ball as well.
I saw a YouTube video and I actually sent it to you, where this guy goes to a gas station, and if you can bench 315, he'll fill up your tank for free. If you saw that Instagram story and you had 2-3 hours to get over there, are you putting up 315 and getting some free gas?
Dude, that's so tough. I think I'm getting it. But that's my lifetime max that I've ever 315. I've only hit it once in my life. And I haven't even tried it in like basically in like a year. Actually, I tried it like a few months ago and I didn't get it, but I think I'm hitting it. Free gas, like come on now.
I'm assuming it's 315 because that's what gas is at this said location.
No,
I think
it was just
315 is just 3 plates.
Yeah.
Three increments.
That's how much I lift. See? Yeah.
I think in the lifting world, and don't like this I don't lift, so I think just I've been around people who have lifted, but I think like 225 is 2 plates and 315 is 3 plates on each side.
Gotcha.
And a plate is 45 pounds, like the largest weight increment of like I guess the weights whatnot.
So it's a significant amount. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. It's
kind of like a goal. But
yeah, I feel like when people can bench like 225, it's like a pretty big, milestone, I would say, for like a lot of high schoolers. I mean, even like adults, like 2 plates on each side, and they're like, hell yeah, I got that. But like that's what the combine test is for like football players. Actually, I'd probably have a question for you on what was you guys did you work out at Concordia when you were playing tennis? Did you guys have a tennis strength and conditioning program?
Very liberally.
And who ran that?
So Concordia employs one full-time strength and conditioning coach, and I can't recall, Isaac, if this was, you may have been graduated, but like we'd have 6 a.m.s a couple times a week, and we were supposed to be there. I did not go to very many of them at all. Like, I don't know. Tennis is just such a unique sport in the sense like that. And Travis, I mean, this like better than anybody, but like the training and how you lift for tennis looks different than football, looks different than basketball. And I did not at all whatsoever. Like if I could go back, I mean, there's a lot of things I'd change about like my college tennis days, but like I wish I wasn't a fucking twig, that's for sure.
Yeah, fair.
I wouldn't have gotten bullied by Isaac as much.
Yeah, one of my buddies is he was a D3 golfer, and he started working out at our gym, and like we do like I would say like athletic workouts. Like we have some like a different Olympic lifts. We do some dynamic movement and like fairly decent warm ups. But then we're like doing normal lifts, like we're squatting, bench pressing, a bunch of different, very common, but a lot of things that people don't really do. And like one of the other coaches was like, you played a college sport, like, do you know how to do this? He's like, just assume I don't know how to do anything, because he
Yeah,
didn't
it's
have any like strength and conditioning program, which I couldn't remember. I remember you guys had some type of lifting, but I didn't know if it was like actually like led by a coach.
Yeah, at least when I think it was kind of at the coach's discretion, because I definitely remember going in, and it was the main coach. I think it was Coach Toothaker was his
yeah,
name.
Brandon Toothaker.
Yeah, Toothaker.
Good dude.
Yeah, good dude. But you could kind of tell, and maybe this was just his mantra all the time, but it seemed like he was saving it for the football guys.
That's what I was about to say. Like, if you're coaching football, basketball, like swimming and all those different sports, and then I'm sure he like gets to the tennis. He knows like 4 of you are going to show up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like,
Right.
yeah,
I'll give
I get it.
I'll give Tooth credit. He was great last year, like to work with, like when I was coaching at Concordia. And shout out Cabermen. Like I couldn't be there NCAA rules wise, like as a coach, but apparently like 90% of the team showed up most of the
That's
time.
pretty sick. Nice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that's yeah, definitely saving it for the Hogs.
I think that's kind of one of the battles, and honestly, one of the reasons. No, I shouldn't even say I wanted to go D1. Like, I feel like tennis is one of those sports where, yeah, if you're playing at a super super high level, you need to go and work out, and all of the professional athletes are doing it. But it's like when you're playing a D3 sport, it's like I just want to play this sport. Like I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m., go grind and lift, and then go to class, and then go to practice late at night. Like you have no social, you know what I mean? Like, one, you get no sleep for your stuff. It's not like we're earning scholarships or anything like that. It's like I just want to go play some tennis. Like that's it.
Right. I mean, even Isaac, even comparing our experience to like Jeffrey, my younger brother who went to Gustavus, it's like another D3 program, but like there was even I would say a step or two, a ladder in between there, because it's like they took it more serious. Still some social life, but definitely more than us, and more than I would say probably every other MyX school and just D3 program in the Midwest, besides like a U Chicago. And it's just like I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. It's like, I mean, I love the social aspect that we had as a team. I love the fact that I was able to like do music and other shit in college. But naturally, like I always think about, well, if I went somewhere else, would I have gotten better at tennis? Yeah, probably. Um, but I mean, just like anything else in life, there's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah. And I think when you have a bigger team like Gustavus, you almost develop that camaraderie where, the difference between 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is probably pretty minuscule. So
Right.
you have to go to those things. And those lower level guys, they want to play on the second team. So they
Yeah, you're
want to
fighting for a
both.
spot.
And you got to like kind of prove yourself. If you're the one that's not showing up and you're pretty close, like if you're both, similar level, like, well, the coach is probably going to pick the guy who's going to the workouts and more dedicated to the team, which I
Yeah.
totally get. And like, no offense to our team at Concordia, but we had, 7, 8 guys, and like a couple of them were like not super committed, to tennis even. Which is nothing wrong with that. They had other things going, but it just doesn't make you want to like really grind to get that,
Right.
that workout in the morning.
It's tough when, and this is, I mean, this is egotistical to say, but it's just the truth. Like when you know that you're going to be in the lineup, like for me, at least I can only speak on behalf of my experiences, like that edge wasn't there versus like you just mentioned, like let's say you're a freshman and you're really fighting for that 6th spot for singles or 3 doubles. Like it's so much easier to lose focus when you know that it's a guaranteed. All right, as long as I don't like break my leg or like get suspended, I'm gonna be playing.
I want to spin that question around to Travis. So, Travis, the last time we chatted, at least on the podcast, was 3 years back, and it's kind of I watched it back. Super interesting watching stuff back like that. And I wasn't watching it back for any other reason where I just want to like see kind of what we said and maybe elaborate on some of those things and maybe some of the predictions that we made. Um, yeah, I guess talk about them. And one of the things that you had said was in the future you wanted to train athletes and you wanted to, become essentially like not an athletic trainer, but like, yeah, train athletes, train them to be kind of accomplish their goals. And like, that's what you're doing, which is super cool. So you work at the Strength Feed out in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's say you have someone like kind of that mindset. What do you do, or my mindset where it's like, like I know I'm not super motivated kind of coming into the Strength Feed. Like, how do you get them motivated to go and work out? Is that your job, or are the people who are attending your sessions pretty motivated?
There's like so many different types of people that come into the gym and like so many different ages. And I think it's pretty easy having been in, I mean, I've basically been doing this for like 2.5 years now. And I feel like my experience like doing it, like you just learn so much by doing the thing. So like when a kid comes in, you can kind of tell what their capabilities are and like what they really want. Like a lot of times you can tell a kid's parent wants them to go. It's basically like an hour of the day where the kid's parent doesn't have to watch them. And it's just like kind of like daycare. But I would say for like a lot of those types of kids, when they come in, if they're not like super motivated to do it, it's almost like finding ways to make them competitive, because a large majority of the athletes I work with are males. And I think males respond very well to competition. So like a lot of the different things that we do are competitive things because no one wants to lose to their peers. So a lot of like competition stuff, which is going to kind of drive motivation itself. And then I think a lot of times once kids start lifting weights, I don't know if it's like an innate thing of like being masculine, but like they start like noticing changes, like they're getting stronger, they're moving better, their muscles are looking better. And then it almost becomes like something where like they now want to come in and do it over and over. Like that's one of the biggest things I would say parents say to us is like, my kid has so much more confidence now than when they first came in. And a lot of times these kids are probably sports like at high school. I mean, it's pretty competitive here where it's like kids pretty much play one sport and that's it. But a lot of them aren't going to play competitive sports. And then on the other side of things, like there are some pretty elite athletes that'll come in where I wouldn't even say they're necessarily the most motivated, but that is kind of where I think having the background that I have, like I played 4 years of Division I football. I spent 2 years in the NFL and like bounced around a couple other professional leagues. But like you either kind of like talk crap to them or like try to give them some advice from, when I was playing and coming up on like the importance of training and preparing your body to actually like do the sport.
No, it's well said, and I mean, starting off with what you shared there, I just find it fascinating that you can tell pretty quickly who actually wants to be there and who's there because mom made them. I mean, that was similar, very different worlds, but when I worked at a sports psychology company, that you see a similar thing, and I suppose you see that in a lot of different settings. On that topic, though, how do you think, Travis, like, obviously we're 6 years, kind of 5 years post the thick of COVID, and how do you think with young athletes, young talented athletes, do you think there's been a shift like pre and post COVID with work ethic, with that? I mean, obviously you said it's only been a couple of years that you've been where you're at, but how do you think, not to be the boomer, but how are the kids doing these days compared to back in our day?
You can absolutely tell the kids that spend too much time playing video games. It's like it's scary. But like, probably looking into parenthood, and I wouldn't say anytime soon, but like it makes me want to eliminate screens from my child's life like so hard. Like some of these kids come in and they have like absolutely no social skills and like their eyes are just like hollow, like it is kind of crazy. But sorry, what was it? What did you even ask? I don't remember.
I mean, you kind
I
of
was
answered
like,
it, but how
yeah.
do
Oh,
young athletes
what are kids like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of when it is, like you're always gonna have kids that are gonna work side of things, like really self-motivated and not even say anything to push themselves every single day. And I would say a lot of those kids are the ones that end up playing sports at the next level, regardless of Division 1, 2, or 3. But like they go and play college sports. A lot of lacrosse players. But like there's always going to be a wide variety and like a large spectrum of kids that are going to set foot in the gym. But I do think that now more than probably even when we were growing up, because I feel like we were probably the last generation that wasn't exposed to screens as children, because like we were probably middle school, high school when like iPhones actually got big. But now like you go out to dinner and like there's iPad kids just like mouth breathing and like spilling food on their iPad while their parents are just like disregarding them. But it like definitely is pretty evident.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, we kind of are the last generation of like go play at the park or go play pickup basketball, baseball, go home for dinner, go back out and play ditch, like, and then come home when it gets dark. Like we are kind of the last of that crop, you could say. And that's sad. Like even when I look at my younger brother, who is 4 years younger than me, I mean, I didn't know what the hell Minecraft was. I didn't have a cell phone until middle school. I mean, it's times change and they change quickly.
100%. And I do think I think people or like people older than us would say that about us. Like dang, that kid has a phone in 6th grade, but it definitely has become more evident. I would say that there's a lot of kids spending a lot of time on screens, video games, phones, all that stuff. But on that other side of it, like when they come into the gym, I would say it's the best possible thing for them. Because a lot of times I think they come in, they do well, and they realize that physical activity is fun, and then they want to come back. Like even if it's an hour a day or like a couple hours a week, like now they're away from that. They're doing something that hopefully they can build relatively good habits moving forward and can continue those for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I want to ask you this, Travis. Yeah. You mentioned once kids get in and them having fun. I think, fun sticks. Fun is whatever the opposite of slippery slope is. It's a really good thing, and it keeps people doing things. I was one of those kids where, like, I love sports, played them through college, but I was always, like, self-conscious perhaps isn't the right word, but, like, maybe it was. Like, I was afraid to go to the gym because I was like, damn, like, I don't know any of these exercises. I'm a freaking twig compared to everybody in here. Somebody asks what my max is on bench. I don't know. Like I couldn't. I to this day I don't think I've ever done a proper format power clean. How do you somebody like that who loves the sport but is maybe a little intimidated by the gym, aka most tennis players, not Isaac because he played other sports. But yeah, how do you get that person to, I don't want to say, I guess, feel included and fall in love with it?
There's a guy at the gym right now. He's trying to get a tennis player in, and I think that's the issue. Is like the gym that I work at is called the Strength Feed. So like the name itself is like I wouldn't say it's intimidating, but you kind of go. It's not a grungy gym, but it's pretty old school. Like we got older, metal dumbbells. The bars are a little bit rusty because we have a big garage door, so it gets a little bit humid in there. But I think the biggest step is just getting the kid in the gym. And like once they get in the gym, you realize so fast that no one in the gym cares what you can or can't do. Like everyone is there to get better, and it's like we kind of see that with our younger group too. It's like what we have we call it our fundamentals group. They're like basically I would say 9 to 12 years old. It's like elementary school kids. And like we'll have kids in there that are 7 or 8 years old. And like the older kids, even though they're 2 or 3 years older, like they're like cheering them on when they're doing stuff. But I feel like it's the complete opposite of what people think, where like I'm gonna go in there and people are gonna judge me. It's like the other way around. Like you're gonna come in here and there's gonna be football guys that are twice your size that are gonna like support you. So
Oh yeah.
I would say that is probably the biggest barrier of entry is like the fear of being intimidated. And I think we see a lot of that with our adult clients is like, I would say women in particular, they're like the strength feed, you know, I'm going to go and like be in this gym with all these big dudes who are throwing heavy weights around. But then you go and it's like, they're going to meet me where I'm at. It's like, we're going to ask you to do something. You know, you walk in, you said you've never done a power clean before. Why would I have you do a power clean day one? You know, like we're going to progress up to that, but we're going to make sure you actually have like fundamental movement qualities first.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, that's great to hear. And I was hoping you would share something like that because, yeah, that definitely is a crop of people who are passionate about sports, but yeah, their mind goes straight to like the, stereotype from decades ago that, like you mentioned, isn't true anymore.
I want to train tennis players. I want more tennis players in the strength feed.
Dude,
honestly, like, I think the tennis scene in Raleigh is like pretty decent because it's like we have fairly good weather year round. But I mean, there's so many universities around here that I think the tennis programs are like solid. But like we need to get more tennis kids in. It's kind of fun because like Ali obviously went to that tennis academy. It's like the strength and conditioning in tennis I think is so far lacking. Like I would even say like golf strength and conditioning is ahead of it. But like people just think that you should just like do rotational stuff all the time. Like it's all just like med balls. And you see a lot of them like doing that on the court. Like you guys do that 1,000 times a day. Why do you think you need more of that?
Yeah. And to that point, like if you're a tennis player and you're a high school tennis player, for example, or even like a good college player, like if you're a college player, your probably eyes are set. I feel like tennis players are, in order to be a really good tennis player, you think you're probably better than you are. So you kind of have that mental like grit
Ego.
almost, if that makes sense. But what you don't understand is like to get to that next level, it requires something that other people aren't doing. And I feel like a lot of tennis guys aren't doing, athletic,
Right.
Bettering themselves. I mean, we just talked about it. Like we never did it. We never wanted to do it. But if you're kind of in that routine, you're going to do it. If you have a local gym, let's say we had tennis workouts back in middle school and high school. Well, maybe those tendencies and those habits translate into the college days. And instead of, being a good college tennis player, you're a great college tennis player. And then that's at every level. Maybe instead of a D1 college guy, you're breaking into that challenger level, borderline pro. And maybe if you're at that challenger level, now you're cracking the top 200 and you can just kind of work your way up from there.
Could not agree more with that. I think like when we were growing up, I don't think the performance side of athletics, like the strength and conditioning, was that big. I mean, we didn't even have a strength coach at our high school. If you go to any high school now, I would say any major high school, they're going to have a strength and conditioning coach. They're going to have a strength and conditioning program. And then athletes in like the Raleigh area, at least, if you don't see for like performance training, you're absolutely getting left behind. And I feel like tennis right now is like if you can go and find a good strength and conditioning coach and program to get in, I think you can like take so many steps ahead of peers. You bounds. And it's like in 10 years, I guarantee every tennis player is going to be doing what all the other athletes are right now. It's just like they're just like a little bit behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, I mean, this isn't a secret, but like the mental side of tennis, like Isaac, you just mentioned, like that gritty mindset, the confidence. Like I'm a firm believer that confidence is something that it transcends different boxes in your life. And so, from my experiences, at least, like those times that I have gone and lifted and done strength and conditioning, I mean, it's scientifically proven that it improves your mental health, your mental well-being, your confidence. I believe that directly can transcend to the tennis court and all other facets of life. Like, I don't know, what would you say that's pretty accurate, Travis?
I would 100% say, yeah. I mean, I think it's like you think of all these things as being like different pillars or like different silos of life, but it's like they're all, kind of like one thing. Like you don't have confidence in one area and not in the other. I would say usually that kind of transfers over to most different parts.
Everything's connected, man.
100%.
Yeah, kind of speaking on the mental part, that's been one of David and I's, I would say, core themes in kind of what we chat about in the last 3 4 years of doing interviews and doing, the podcast style interviews. And we honestly, we don't have too many people who aren't tennis core focused people. Um, so when we ask our guests, it's usually a tennis person. But I kind of want to ask you, is there anything that you do or have done mentally to kind of focus for your sport? Focus for football, or now that you're training athletes, that you give them some sort of like a mental, you know, you know, you're able to kind of teach them the mental side of the
Right.
sport of football or whatever you're trying to train.
Right. I will say I like agree. I think tennis, I mean, any individual sport is far more difficult mentally than a team sport. And I say that with like complete confidence. Had so many more, I would say, like mental issues during tennis matches when I was in high school than I ever did in like football or basketball. You just had like people to rely on. But I think routine is probably like the biggest thing of like getting a really good routine. And I wouldn't even I was gonna say I wouldn't even necessarily say it's meditation, but like some type of routine of like breath work and focusing on your breath. I think that's something where I probably used to think it was like a little bit corny, but then I started doing it, and before I even work out, like I'll just like lay on a foam roller and I'll just like nose breathe. I'll like take a big breath in, hold it. It's called box breathing, but inhale through the nose, hold it, and then exhale, and kind of like just doing that or like a double inhale. I listen to a lot of Huberman, and he talked about that a lot, or talks about that a lot. But I think like breath work and then just like getting your mind to just kind of like relax and shut down and just focus on the task at hand. So I'd say that's probably people's biggest issue is they're thinking about so many different things that are going on. It's like even for a lift, if I'm going to be in the gym for 1 hour, I don't want to have my phone. I don't want to be thinking about anything else. Like that 1 hour is going to be so productive. Whereas if like I'm on my phone the whole time, Allie probably called me twice. I'm like, look at something on Instagram, and you kind of get pulled in. It's like it's just a lot less of an effective and productive workout. But like even for a sport, like obviously you're probably not thinking about a lot of other things. But if you finished a long day at school, or you're thinking about a test that's coming up, or if like you're graduated and you're playing professionally, you might be thinking about something else. Like getting mind on task at hand, and I think like breathing, just like shutting everything down, calming your nervous system, and getting ready to go.
That's I'm so glad that you bring that up, Trav, because like, dude, box breathing just is the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm more of a trapezoid breathing guy myself. Longer exhales, different
Yeah,
shape.
yeah.
Um, but I do think I'm glad that you brought up Huberman, because that one sexy, good looking man right there.
He
Good looking
doesn't know how
fella.
to sprint though.
What?
He said he doesn't know how to sprint though. You ever seen those videos? You can keep talking. Sorry, I cut you off.
I would like to watch them now. But yeah, talk about just, we've talked physical, we've talked mental. Talk about the correlation between those two, because there is, like we see in sport and in life, like there's such a correlation between physical fitness and mental fitness.
That's what it is. Like someone had something about the athletes make it the first in their are the most, but like
You're cutting out
in
again,
their
Trev.
what's going on.
It's like that playing football blind Vine. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you're good now. I don't know
Is
what's
it
going
is it
on.
like good?
Now
I'm
try
not
talking
back.
again. You're
Sorry,
back
I'm,
now.
I'm talking. All right, completely fine. It's out.
Yeah, try David, is he kind of cutting out in and out?
Yeah.
There's a couple moments where, and maybe in post I'll be able to put this all together a little bit, but I don't want to really rely on it.
I was like, the quality is good. It's just, yeah, the blips where
Yeah.
it cuts out.
I wonder if it's like my AirPod connection.
Yeah, maybe. You want to just try to rip it on your are you on your computer right now, or No. While Travis is figuring that out, and I'll let him resume his thought as well. No. Um, yeah. So one of the things that I brought this up maybe like once or twice on the pod in the past, but there's this guy named Dr. David Asp, and he has since passed away. R.I.P. Dave Asp. He was a Red Wing. I don't even know what he did, but he was a doctor at like the mental clinic, and he worked with athletes and stuff like that. But I wonder if Travis remembers this, if he was on the team when we did this. Um, but we went to this, the mental hospital in Red Wing where he worked, like psychology hospital. I don't even know exactly what it was,
Yeah.
but our coach at the time was an Aussie, and he was super into the mental side of tennis. And we had one guy on our team, Alex Home, and his nickname was Rager. And uh, I think our Coach Kavanaugh, he knew that like I was a little bit psycho in the head, and some of our other guys were a little bit hot sometimes. So he really wanted to add that sort of tool to our arsenal of getting better with the mental side of tennis. So we go there and we sit in this room, and he essentially takes us through this exercise where we sit there for 15-20 minutes. And to Travis's point, he starts talking about our breathing. And that's kind of what we're chatting about, is like, all right, guys, like, and he's like, be present, think about your breathing, think about your breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And we go through this set of activities, and he's like, it's almost like a mental visualization of match day. Think about the sights, think about the sounds, the ball hitting the racket, the perfect forehand. What does it feel like outside? Who are your opponents? Like, put yourself in that situation. Blah 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 blah. So we do that, and after that, like it almost hypnotized you, where you like fell asleep, but you weren't really asleep, and you like wake up, you're like, oh my gosh, that was like crazy. So after that, he's like, hey, if anyone wants like a personal CD of a recording, like I would love to do that for you. So I go up to him after, and I'm really glad I did this, but I was like, hey, would you be willing to make one of those for me? I think that would be beneficial. And he did. He's like, all right, give me three things that three positive
Messages.
messages that you say about yourself on the court. And I was like, I got this. You got this. Like three different random things. I can't remember what they are. And so he like goes through this meditation, records it, like a one-time record, you could tell. And so he gives it to me. I download it on iTunes, whatever it may be, and I listen to that at night. And I'm like, and kind of the goal is to like start to memorize that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes. So I did. You memorize it, and I can even remember some of the things that he said in it. I still have it on my computer right now. And it was so impactful for being in the moment, like getting to the tennis court and like not letting the noise, whatever that may be, whether it's you thinking about your girlfriend, or you thinking about your family at the match, or you thinking about what's happening after the match at the post match, get together, or your opponent if he hooks you, it just like got you so dialed in. But I always think about that. I anytime like I'm on the tennis court, I'm like I'll always kind of like put myself in that zone. But yeah, I'm curious if you've worked with anyone, Travis, through UND, or you mentioned Huberman was kind of a person that you've picked up on some different things. Yeah, has there been any other stakeholders that you've learned from?
I just want to make sure everything's good. You can hear me, everything.
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect. Um, I haven't really talked to a ton of. We had one like sports psychologist come into the gym, to talk to our hockey team, but I have not spent a lot of time with like anyone in person. I just listen to a ton of different podcasts. There's a guy who relates back to Huberman. His name's Stu McMillan. He is a basically a world-renowned sprint coach. And that's when I was giving Huberman crap about not being able to sprint. But like Stu went on the Huberman Lab podcast, and then like they went out to a track, and he was like teaching him some different things like skipping and then sprinting. And Huberman, like, he looked like the most uncoordinated kid you ever seen in your life. It's kind of crazy. But he speaks a lot about like the mental side of things and kind of talks about some things. But yeah, that's probably one thing I would like to read more on and kind of dive into a little bit more. But like I've kind of developed a routine where it works really well for me. So I mean, very minuscule compared to actually preparing yourself for the sport. But I would definitely say I wish I kind of knew that, in high school and in college and then after.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know where David went, but is there something that you would work on? Maybe it's the mental side of tennis, or sorry, mental side of like football or basketball or tennis, track and field, kind of what you participated in. Is there anything that you would have went back and you're like, I wish I would have done this?
I think about that a lot. I wouldn't even necessarily say like working out, but like knowing what I know now about like strength and conditioning, like speed training. Like I wish we would have had a strength coach, one, and I wish I would have like sprinted more or like learned how to sprint. And I mean, it would have hurt my tennis career, but I wish I would have done track and field for more years. I've been like getting into sprinting and like speed stuff like so much in the last couple months, and just like the performance side of things, because that's kind of where a lot of the performance industry is moving. It's like kids used to be like, I want to get stronger, and now everyone comes to us and they're like, I want to get faster. Like my kid needs to get faster. So I'm like, I think just like sprinting more and then in learning about speed when I was younger, which is hard to say because like as a 16 or 17-year-old, like how are you going to be able to digest all that information? But that's probably one of the things I wish. Like imagine I went back to high school and I could train myself with what I knew now, like over with.
Yeah. Do you think you would listen to yourself?
You're saying if I was in high school and me now went back, or if I knew what I think I would.
Let's say you're the Red Wing trainer.
Yeah.
And you are a football player for Red Wing. Do you think you would like buy in and be a level ahead because of you? Because of
I think so. I mean,
okay.
do I have the experience that I have now? Like if trainer me comes back and I'm in the Red Wing high school gym, like, damn, this dude like played for 3 NFL teams, not knowing that he was on the practice squad for all of them. But I'd probably respect him and listen to him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think isn't it fascinating, like how much our brains change in that? I mean, high school, I'm 28, so roughly a decade ago was, graduating high school. Like what we know now versus then is just, I know it sounds cliche, but it's night and day.
100%. I think those are the kids that you see do really, really well at their sport, regardless of the sport, are the ones where they're able to slow the sport down because they have a different understanding of everything. Like regardless of football, tennis, like they're able to almost like get to a different spot mentally. They have a different understanding where I don't know if they're seeing coverage or they understand leverage on a route a little bit more. Or like in basketball, they know, like if they're able to like position themselves, like they just have a different level of understanding. I think those are the kids that set themselves apart in any level of sports. Like, can you slow the sport down for yourself?
I think might as well watch, and I kind of want to see what you would critique.
Yep, have to.
So this is Huberman here. Sorry if it's small screen for everyone here, but so yeah, watching that, what would you say?
Well, I mean, he's just like a huge heel striker. Like obviously you can tell, like very robotic. Like he's struggling to move opposite arm, opposite leg, which is like one of the most innate patterns in like human movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen. Okay, this is like the one. So Stu's like a really big skipper. He talks a lot about. See how he's heel striking. So Stu is trying to get him on the front half of his foot here.
Mm.
But skipping is a really good tool, especially for older people, because it drives your knee behind the butt. So like
Mm.
you're actually getting into hip extension. But like if you could kind of see there, his heel is hitting first, and it's just like that's not an effective running strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Stu like even there. But Stu's that guy right there in that hat.
Okay.
Um,
Huh.
really well known and like world renowned sprints coach. But like he presents a
Okay.
lot on different things. And then he went on the Huberman Lab podcast, talked a lot about like the benefits and effects of sprinting, at any age, because there's like some statistic. I don't know if it's like 95 or like 98% of people don't sprint after the age of like 30, which
Mm.
I was like, for both of you, when's the last time you sprinted like all out?
Ironically enough, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, but it's been 5+ years.
And then I would also probably go on to say that if you went out right now to like a track or like a football field and you sprinted as hard as you could, you probably would hurt something.
I even just trying to run right now, I feel like Forrest Gump before the things come off of his
Yeah.
legs at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. But I think that's like a really cool thing that like learning how to properly sprint and like different sprint mechanics. Like if I could have like learned that stuff in high school, I almost felt like I didn't learn it until after college when I was
Mm.
doing my pro day training.
Mm.
Because I think if I left college and ran a 40, I do not know if I would have broken 5 seconds. Like I
Mm.
felt like I was slow at UND. And then I started training and we did a ton of sprinting and I learned how to like actually accelerate. And like times dropped because I was so strong. I mean, I was pretty explosive. I was really strong. And then like once you can actually use that strength to, run fast in the proper ways, like kind of like reprogram your body to not just go slow and heavy all the time, but now you're like doing light and explosive work.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
I kind of got some random questions here.
I actually have a
And
random question for you. I don't know. I don't want to sidetrack you.
no, you go first, and then
I've thought about this a lot, and I don't want to throw you under the bus. So I think a lot about like genetics. I would say that you and I are like about as like genetically similar as we could be.
yeah,
Like, what do you think? I'm not saying that like my sporting, obviously we had very, very different sporting career paths. I would say in high school, I was like probably a little bit better of an athlete. But then like as I go, just in terms like testing, let's say we just tested every single year, that gap probably grew and grew and grew.
for
Obviously, I
sure.
was training more. Do you think if you took the exact same path as me, like what do you think the difference of time, strength, jumping ability, sprinting ability would be? Like you and I did everything the same. Do you think we would be like the same athlete?
That's a good question. It's a really good question.
I've like thought about that before.
I
Hmm.
think Isaac would need to. I'd say we need to make this measurement in Domino's pizzas.
I
Because I mean,
I
like in high school, like I would say I probably worked out a little bit more than you, but I mean, like you were dunking, you were getting up there, you were a good athlete.
yeah,
I think
but
when
I
I was
think
younger, I was probably a little bit faster than you. You grew fast, so your feet were always big.
yeah, I got bigger faster than
Yeah.
you did. Um, and probably grew into my body a little bit faster. So maybe that kind of hurt me in the way of I got away with just being a little bit bigger at my
Yeah.
age. But also too, I think it's a little bit innate where I like the grind of the sport. Like I would say I'm a gamer where I can, I like tennis, for example. I
Yeah.
still like to go out and just grind tennis. And
Yeah.
there's nothing better than being just in a super, super close match where you're mentally so dialed in that you have to you got to grip to
Hmm.
win the match. And same with basketball. Like if you were to say, "Hey, Isaac, you're playing whatever team, Austin, Minnesota, and it's 52-52, you're shooting free throws. Like, yeah, like I want to go shoot those free throws. I want to be the one that's shooting them. I feel like I've had that, but I haven't had what you have in terms of, like, you always had that other switch where you cared about what you ate, you cared about um um you cared about just like going above and beyond in your work ethic. I mean, for example, one thing that's kind of sticking out to me is, those like platform things that we had to like jump higher. What were those things
Oh
called?
yeah, the shoes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
those
remember.
shoes.
Where it's
Like,
like elevated your heel, yeah, or the front half of your foot, and your heel's in the air.
dad got us like two pairs of those, and I'm pretty sure you started doing those, and I was like, all right, like I guess I gotta start doing these so I don't like fall behind. It was almost like I was doing it because I didn't want to like be a worse athlete than you. But like if I didn't have you there, then it, might have been a little bit of a different story type of thing.
So my
Um,
thing to that is, like you said, you're a gamer, you like the sports side of things. If you knew how beneficial like working out and training and like eating well, getting enough sleep, all that, I'm not saying you didn't do that stuff, but if you knew how beneficial that would be and that is going to improve your performance on the court, wouldn't you want to spend more time doing that?
I mean, yeah, I think in hindsight, like you want the best outcome. And like I think, okay, what would have been the best outcome? What would have been the best possible outcome for
Yeah.
myself? Let's say I started, tennis is my passion. Would I have, could I have gone professional, playing tennis? Like if I dedicated and got a trainer and did that, it's like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like
You could have
maybe,
also
but
burned out and quit.
Yeah.
right.
Fact.
And I think like to David's point there, and kind of where I was getting at was, I always liked like the social part of middle school, high school. I mean, shoot, like we had COD parties. Like
Hmm.
in I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, like you're going to regret playing video games." Like those are core memories of mine where everyone would come over to our house or a different person's house. They would bring their TV, and we would play in a COD lobby, Call of Duty, 6v6, and there would be six people in our house on our Wi-Fi, and we would clean up. We were so good. I'm pretty sure we would play, like they would come over at like maybe like noon, 1, and we'd play till like 8, 9 p.m., maybe even later. We wouldn't lose. Like we legitimately wouldn't lose matches the entire day. I remember Dan O'Keefe was like, he stopped coming to him because he's like, if I play alone, I'll get 20, 25 kills. But if I play with you guys, I get 10 kills because you guys are killing, like, you guys are just menaces out there. It's like Cody Lightner, Alex Holm. But it was almost like I enjoyed that part of it, and like going over to Noah Christensen's, and you had your high school girlfriend, or at the time, like I almost valued those things more than you
Yeah.
know, grinding and getting
Right.
faster and that sort of thing. So
That's fair.
if I were to go
Yeah.
back to your question, I don't know if I would. Like, I don't think I would have changed really anything, even
Yeah.
if, hindsight's 2020. Like I think you would be like, I wish I would have worked harder because I, could have gone a little bit further. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have changed anything.
Yeah. That's probably the answer then.
Yeah. But my question to you about Red
Yeah.
Wing. So you're from Red Wing, of course. We're from Red Wing, home of Red Wing shoes. If you had to design a limited edition Travis Toivonen boot that represents your kind of journey, what feature would it have that would be kind of unique to kind of
Ooh.
your journey?
Damn. I'm not gonna lie. I got some Red Wing Chelseas that like I wear all the time and I really like them. So I think I'd have a nice Chelsea boot. Dude, I'm trying to think. It would have to be like some type of it would like be pretty like minuscule. I'm almost thinking on the because the Chelseas like don't have any laces or anything. They just have like the polo on the back. I feel like you like put something on the tag there. I don't even know what, but something like that. I love my Red Wings. It's a great question. You might have to come back. Give me like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you majored in entrepreneurship at
Yeah.
UND. What's the most entrepreneurial thing or, completely broke thing that you've done when you were in your undrafted years, kind of in that grind mode, to make some money?
I mean, during COVID, I worked at a liquor store, so that was that was something. That wasn't very entrepreneurial. After I got out of the XFL, I started like my wide receiver training, um, my wide receiver training business because I'd like made a little bit of money in the XFL. I was still thinking I was going to go play football, but we had driven down to North Carolina because we had like just moved to Raleigh when I went and played. We literally went in Raleigh, I think, for like a week and a half. Then I left for 4 months. So when I got back, I started the receiver training. And when we drove down to Raleigh, we drove Allie's Jeep. So I didn't have a car here. So I bought a bike on Facebook Marketplace. I had a big ass duffel bag with all my like training equipment in there. It was like a football hurdles, like a ladder, like a bunch of different stuff. And I would like bike around Raleigh, and it's like really hot here in the summer. So it would definitely have to be that. And I'd like the kids would pay me like it was my first kids I ever trained. So they paid me like $20. So I was just biking around, sweating my ass off, just training kids for like a couple dollars here and there, get a couple of Venmos.
Dude, one day, like when you become like the next, like, I don't know, world famous trainer and there's like a children's book about you, are you going to choose to have that as your entrepreneurial, like pulling yourself up in the bootstraps, or are you going to have the liquor store?
It'd probably have to be that. It's like while I was doing that, I kind of started coaching a little bit part time at the strength feed, and then it like kind of worked out to move into more of a full time role. But I was very much so just whipping that bike around. It was like a Costco bike, and one day the chain snapped and it wrapped itself around. So like the back wheel wouldn't rotate. So I literally picked the bike up. I walked like a mile with it, and I just threw it in a dumpster. Like I kept trying to find places. I was like, should I throw it down this hill here? And I did it. Then the week later, because it was like the longest grass you've ever seen, a week later, the hill was completely mowed. I was like, if I threw that bike down the hill, I would have ruined someone's day. The guy would have been mowing just like. But yeah, that's probably the best entrepreneurial thing I've done.
Yeah.
Still doing it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess to that point, and I got a couple other fun questions, but to the point of, because it's TT receiver training, right? That's the name of
TT
the
receiver
business.
training, yeah.
So of like a typical week, if you're working, let's say 30 to 40 hours at the strength feed, how many hours are you doing TT receiver training?
Very few. I'd probably say like 2 or 3, and it's always the weekends because I'm at the gym. I'm probably at the gym coaching like 25 to 30 hours, which like actively coaching 25 or 30 hours. I know people are like, it's a 40-hour work week. Obviously, I have a bunch of other meetings and like different things to do. I just don't have a ton of time during the week, and then especially moving into the summers. But I will say, like with the receiver training thing, one of the best things I did was started posting that on social media because I'm going to go back to Europe in May, so I guess next month. But I've already got some guy found me. He runs camps over there, and he's brought me over. I think it's been 3 times now. But I've got to go to Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria. I've gone over there 3 times now, and I'll get to go to Prague, Czech Republic, and then Berlin in May, and then a few other German cities. But like that's probably the best thing that's come out of it is I've gotten free trips to Europe. I get to coach kids in like Germany. You know, like coaching wide receivers in Germany, like it's crazy. But yeah, it's probably the best thing that's came out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Getting a free Europe trip, and
Yeah,
seeing some new places, free of charge. Like, what's better than that? Um,
absolutely.
what if because in college you can't really do like a touchdown dance.
Mm-hmm.
If it was allowed back in your college days or even high school days, or even NFL days, I guess. What touchdown dance would you do?
We kind of had I mean, I would do it in college. It wasn't like a dance, but like we had the you know, like the Pedro Schmidt in my
Mhm.
bag. That's what you do. You pretend he had a backpack on. He's like, I'm in my bag. So we'd always do that when I scored. And like my whole college highlight was that. We had a couple funny celebrations in the Fan Control Football League. had the little spin one. Everyone got around it, was doing the fire. I hit the Hingle McCringleberry 3 pumps. You remember that?
Nice little thrust.
Yeah, that one for sure would have been a penalty, but I feel like I'd keep it with the bag.
And
The Hingle McCringleberry, that is an all-timer right there. We need to see if the NFL wants to become less and less of the no fun league, like more Hingle McCringleberries.
Yeah, I kind of have
More
a fire
gyration.
picture of me standing up on the stage of the FCF with like my hands up. It was pretty electric.
You led when you were a senior in high school, you led the state of Minnesota in receiving yards for your senior season with over 1,000 yards in just 8 games. If you could go back and add one completely ridiculous high school stat line, like most touchdowns scored while wearing Red Wing boots, what ridiculous stat line would you create?
Damn. I'm like basically like thinking football or basketball. Probably football. My mind instantly goes to like I think it was Shakopee when both you and Tate Kelly threw me a touchdown in that game. So maybe it was like most touchdown passes caught from brother and best friend in one game or something like that. Or like most touchdown passes caught from different quarterbacks in one game.
I like that. And
yeah,
one thing that I've seen kind of recently on your social media, and I remember back when you were in high school and you did this, which was absolutely ridiculous. Maybe it was college, but you go to like the local YMCA or whatever you're going, and you just go and yam and dunk.
Bro. It's so funny.
But I think that would be an unreal stat line, not necessarily for football, but like most between the leg dunks. Like this guy's had 20 between the leg dunks this year.
How about like most time spent hanging on a rim in a game? I just go to the YMCA, just annihilate rims for like an hour, and I go home.
So
I usually sit in the sauna too.
Do you? So is it the YMCA that you go to?
Yeah, it's really nice.
So you go to the local YMCA in Raleigh, and you walk in. Are you just like, I'm just gonna like what's the kind of the thought process walking into the YMCA gym? You're just like, all right, I'm just gonna go like
I usually go, so it's like I have a pretty structured workout program. My whole goal right now is to get faster and jump higher, basically so I can dunk even harder and then just like run really fast. So I usually walk into the YMCA. I love the Dakota Roasters.
Yeah.
I usually walk into the YMCA feeling pretty fresh. I go down so the gym is right there. I go down the stairs. There's like a studio. It's got foam rollers and a bunch of other stuff. I get nice and loose, warm up for probably like 15, 20 minutes, get the mind right. Go up. I hopefully there's a couple runs going on, because if I play a few games first, I'm like feeling really good. And then I just like see how bruised I can leave my wrist before I take off for the day. Just absolutely hammer it. And they have like a track going around up there. So whenever I miss the dunk, the ball goes like 40 feet in the air and like hits the ceiling or like damn near lands on the track. So all the old dudes are like looking down like, what's going on down there? But it's pretty fun. And then I'll see a bunch of kids that I train, and they're like, bro, like, aren't you like an old head? Like, why are you still doing this? Like, it's fun. That's why.
I love it. The question I always ask, to kind of finish up the interview. Thank you so much for sitting down, Trav and Dave. First time having you back in like 3-4 months. Awesome to have you back, David. Well, I guess I'll leave it first to David. I'll let you do this question, and then I'll do it to Travis. But do you guys have any specific shout outs that you would like to put out into the world? Any specific shout outs that you would like to give? David first.
Oh, shout outs. I got a lot of shout outs. It's good to be back on the program first and foremost. Been dealing with some personal stuff the last couple of months, but doing better than ever.
Howdy, brother.
Thank you. Love you boys, and one day at a time. I'm the luckiest dude in the world. Lou Gehrig said that, but he was fucking lying. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. No, Lou Gehrig. Actually, no, Lou Gehrig was not lucky because, like,
Shout out Lou Gehrig before he
shout out,
died.
legend.
Maybe
But
now
no,
too, I guess.
family, friends, Isaac, Travis, you guys rock. Love you, fellas. That was a voice crack. Love you, fellas. Also, my boy Will Kubal, and his cat Junebug. She's a very sweet kitten.
Oh yeah,
That's who I got.
Nice. Trav?
mine's probably not as touching. I'm gonna first shout out Raleigh because the weather's been unbelievable here. Sitting on the porch earlier with the cat, the dog, and the wife. So shout out to fam. And then all my friends from back home, they're all coming down to Raleigh April 24th. We got this big old beer festival called Broogaloo. So we got Tate, Carson, Justin, Cole, Fritz, and all the significant others. Whole squad pulling up to Raleigh. About to tear up downtown for a couple days. But shout out the boys.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Normally I'll do something kind of cheesy at the end and be like, I shout out the guests, thank you so much for coming on. But my shout out is to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I've spent a lot of time on that game and I regret no moment. And I don't think I'll ever regret a moment, but also shout out you, Travis, for coming on and spending an hour with us. So thank you so much.
Shout out Cody Leitner for shooting me in the face with an airsoft gun in our basement during a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 party.
That sounds what an experience.
That was a true story. So, but yeah, bye everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you've listened so far, we will end it there.